everyone, and welcome to 1923 Main Street.
Home of the Daddy-Daughter Disney Travel Podcast. We are your hosts.
I am Mike Bellabraddock.
And I'm Amelia Bellabraddock. And today we're going to be ranking every coaster at Disneyland Resort, Walt Disney World Resort, and Disneyland Paris.
Yes, we're taking the three resorts and putting them head to head, talking about the best coasters Disney style. Now we know Disney coasters are not extreme coasters, but I guess there's Disney Extreme, right?
Yeah.
They don't really go for the world record in steepest dive and stuff like that.
But some of these aren't exactly Goofy's Barnstormer.
Exactly. And we still, as we discussed in a previous episode, we are still hoping that when they build the Villains Park we requested, they might get a little bit more aggressive with Vilified, our coaster we want to see. All right, let's begin by going in order of the resorts and the coasters at each resort. We'll rank them for the resort, and then we're going to try and pick, and we'll see how we pick our overall all-time favorite Disney coaster. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let us begin with Disneyland Resort, and in no particular order. I've jotted down all the coasters there. Now, I will say we're not including kids coasters. We'll mention them. We're not including kids coasters, and we also will mention the coming soons.
Mm-hmm. And by kids coasters, we mean like the really kiddie ones. Like we're still including.
Well, let's just start with
Seven Dwarfs
Disneyland Resort.
Yeah.
What is the kids coaster?
Gadgets Go Coaster.
And do you even remember?
Am I saying that right?
Yeah, it's Gadgets Go Coaster. It is in
Okay.
Toontown, and it is a very kiddie coaster.
Well.
So we're not including that. But if, for a youngin' who wants a first coaster ride, a real sort of tame, sort of fun, tame coaster, that's the one for you. But beyond that, we have 5 coasters across Disneyland Park and Disney California Adventure Park. And we will start with Goofy Sky School. When you were young, you loved Goofy Sky School. Well, you're still young, but when you were
young.
When you were single digits young.
And also double digits young, the most recent time we've been there.
You love Goofy
Still
Sky
love Goofy Sky School.
All right. What are your pros and cons of this?
I think it has a lot of pros. I remember the most recent time we were there, we waited in line to go on this multiple times. I can't really think of any cons because I like all of the little jerky movements that other people might not.
Yeah,
so.
Goofy Sky School
I enjoy
is Wild Mouse type of coaster. It's not a long car. They're shorter cars, sharp turns, sort of high and stacked type of roller coaster track. I have to say, over the years, I've started to like it less. I used to really like it.
Really? I really like it.
I don't know why. But, so there's Goofy Sky School over in Disney California Adventure. Now, we'll rank them later, but let's hop back across to Disneyland Park and talk about what was, quite possibly, the original. I think it was the first steel track coaster in the world, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to double check that. But I'm talking about what? Matterhorn Bobsleds.
Ooh, that's really interesting.
Now, what do you think of Matterhorn Bobsleds?
Honestly, I think it's pretty cool. I haven't gone on it nearly as many times as I'd like to, but definitely for the first coaster, it's probably, well, it is because nothing has ever been done before that.
This is this is an old ride.
And I think we kind of get oiled by some of the newer ones that they came up with, but from the 50s, that's pretty darn good.
And I have to say, for the older Disney coasters, I really like Matterhorn Bobsleds. I still like sort of how it goes through the mountain. I like the way it twists and turns. I like how it goes through the water at the end. Of course, there is a ghost on this coaster, as we discussed in our Halloween episode last year.
And I think I might not like it as much because I'm not as nostalgic for it as other people. Like, I've only been on it once, I want to say.
No,
maybe
you've been
twice.
on it, I would say.
I only remember once.
Yeah, I'd say you've been on it probably 5 times.
I don't think so.
Yeah, over the years.
Oh, I only remember one time.
Yeah, what, the most recent one?
Yeah.
Okay.
5, are you sure?
So Matterhorn Bobsleds, an iconic symbol, of course, because it's the big Matterhorn mountain. And again, steel track, but sort of not a long coaster train, shorter individual type cars, sort of like a Space Mountain Disney World type of car, which we'll get to. And now let's go to the other extreme, something much newer. Across the way again, we're hopping over to Disney California Adventure.
Ooh.
For the Incredicoaster, previously California Screamin'.
Which was much better.
Oh, I think we decided we like Incredicoaster better.
I don't know. I think I like Incredicoaster. I I don't think they should have changed it because California Screamin', it was like an iconic thing that it was still Disney without them needing to brand it.
Yeah, but let's not do that topic. We already did that topic on a separate show. But I will say
I like the actual coaster better.
It is a true
miss the music.
coaster type experience. It does have a loop. They make it look like the old wooden.
Doesn't it have like multiple loops?
No, it has one main loop around the sign.
Yeah.
And they made it look like an old wooden track coaster, but it's not. It's a steel track. It's pretty fast. It has the fast start, but it's sort of a long, fast start.
Yeah.
What they added was more scream tunnels, and they added more of a story with the Incredibles to it, which I sort of liked. Yeah. I did like the California Screamin' music better.
I mean, I definitely do like the Incredibles, so I think it's a fine time. I'm just kind of missing the California Screamin'.
I love it. It's the most extreme coaster, I would say, at Disneyland at the moment.
Yeah. Are they planning a more extreme one?
I don't know.
Avengers Campus? We can only hope.
We'll wait and see. Now we're going to once again hop across the entryway and go back over to Disneyland Park and talk about Space Mountain Disneyland version.
Yes.
What do you think of it? Also haunted.
I think that every time they made New Space Mountain, it just got better. Because this one's fine. I definitely liked it more when I was little because I could go on it earlier. But it's more kiddie than either of the other ones we're talking about today. And out of the 3 Space Mountains, it's my least favorite.
Yeah, I didn't think you were going to agree with me on that because that's exactly how I feel. The seating on this one is side by side, although they are shorter cars through the dark, similar to the other ones. But yeah, for me, it's just okay. It's the type of one.
And it is pretty old too. We'll give it that.
It's the type of one that if I miss it, that's okay. I don't mind as much.
I mean, we feel like that for most of the rides.
Yeah, there's other ones. No, but not for as far as coasters go.
Yeah. And
then rounding out the coasters at Disneyland Resort is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad Disneyland version at Disneyland Park. What do you think?
I kind of feel the same way about Space Mountain. I think that it just kind of got better and better as it went along. Although it's quite good. It's more on par with the one at Disney World than Space Mountain is.
Yeah, I'd say they're very close as well.
They're very, very similar.
It's more coaster style, longer car, with a sort of train theme to it. Steel track, but I would call this a moderate coaster, right?
Yeah.
It's what you would graduate to in Disneyland terms from Gadgets Go Coaster. In fact, I would think if you had a little one who's used to gadgets and you want to move up, I think Big Thunder would be a better choice than Goofy Sky School. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. Goofy Sky
School is a bit scarier.
Goofy Sky School is fine. It's just very jerky and less smooth, obviously. Yeah. It being jerky.
And you do feel like we're at the very top, and it does have those sharp, jaggy turns.
It's quite fun, though.
Like you're going to go off the edge. It's not going to turn. The car's going to break free.
And I think I probably like the Walt Disney World version of Big Thunder better just because it's more nostalgic for me.
So, as we go, and we're going to do Disney World next, but let's round up Disneyland Resort. Give me your top 5 in reverse order, or do you want me to go first? I'll give you mine. In number 5, I have Goofy Sky School.
Huh.
That is my least favorite.
Okay.
In number 4, I have Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Not because it's not... So, let me just say, I like all of these, but if I'm forced to rank them, this is my order. And for the same reasons you did, it's my least favorite of the Big Thunders, although it's fun. Number 3 was very, very close for me between these two. And in my notes, I had Matterhorn Bobsleds number 3, but I think I'm going to change it. I'm going to have Space Mountain as number 3. I'm going to have Matterhorn as number 2, and Incredicoaster for me is the number 1 coaster type ride at Disneyland Resort.
Yeah. So you've gone a little bit wrong there, so let me help correct you. In number 5, Space Mountain, it's really nothing special. It's fine, kind of boring, to be honest. They're all better than this.
I know a lot of people love it, so we hear you out there, but for us, I don't know, not feeling it. And I keep trying to love it, but I just like
I love it. It's just I love all of these other ones more.
Yeah, I don't it's okay for me. Anyway,
literally
go ahead.
Any experience I can have within the Disney parks, there's the 99% chance I'm going to love it.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't stop you. Go ahead.
3 and 4 were pretty close for me. I just switched them. But in 4, I have Big Thunder, and then 3 being Matterhorn Bobsleds. At number 2, I have Goofy Sky School because
Ooh,
I
you
really
still
like
love it.
I love it. I remember it was like the last day, and I made you guys line up again so we could go on it. I think it's quite fun.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
You really do like it.
But not quite as fun as the Incredicoaster.
All right,
which is
so
phenomenal.
I want to see if we have the number 1 in all 3 parks before we pick a king or queen, however you want to look at it, or a winner, I guess. So I agree. So we're in agreement. Our champion coming out of Disneyland Resort is the Incredicoaster, so that makes it easier moving on. All right, we're moving on to Walt Disney World in the Great Coaster Challenge. Again, we will say, first of all, we are not including the Barnstormer. That is the kids' coaster in Magic Kingdom Park.
Although I'm sure that's most of your favorites out there, so we're sorry to
I don't love it even as an adult. I find it a bit sort of, I don't know, tight, weird, jerky turns, but not in a good way.
I don't mind it. It's underwhelming.
Coming soon here, I'm just going to mention them up front because these may ultimately change these rankings because there are 2, count them 2. So we've got the Tron racing coaster coming in next to Space Mountain in Magic Kingdom Park. And then we have Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind coming into Epcot. And that is Crush's coaster of Disneyland or Disney World.
I'm very excited
we'll get into that when we talk about Disneyland Paris. So we have 5 coasters. We're starting with Expedition Everest in Disney's Animal Kingdom Park. Give me your thoughts.
I think it's quite good. Expedition Everest, it's one of those that if you don't tell people it goes backwards, you can definitely trick them. So that's very fun. It also looks weird from the outside, like you're not really sure what you're getting into. So that's another thing that I like. So it's not like super obvious. There is some element of it being indoors. The Yeti is a fun addition. It's fine, like middle of the pack.
I would agree. It's a good ride. It's got some good sort of twist to it because it does go backwards. You think it's going to start with a big hill, but then it doesn't. Then there's the broken track. Then it goes backwards. It goes in the dark. It goes in the light. Personally, I don't care that the Yeti is broken all the time. I really think it's irrelevant to the ride. I don't.
I like the Yeti. I just think
the Matterhorn snowman always seems to work, and
no, I just find it hilarious. It's almost part of the ride now. Oh, Yeti's broken.
Yeah, so I don't mind the strobe light Yeti. Yeah, I do like it. I would say it's one of their more extreme. It's towards the top in Disney terms.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for the biggest bang for your buck in, thrilling coasters, a thrill ride, I would give Everest.
And I definitely am disappointed that we will not be getting to go on it next
Sorry,
time
I can't remember if I said there's 5. There's actually 6.
There's 6, yes.
Okay, so
There's
let's
15
move
in
on.
total.
Let's move on to the Walt Disney World Big Thunder Mountain Railroad in Magic Kingdom Park. This, again, was one of your real favorites as a kid.
Yeah, I think in terms of kiddie coasters, I was never one that was like, oh yeah, Goofy's Barnstormer. This is like the epitome of roller coasters. I was always more, I like roller coasters, and so I think I graduated from that pretty quickly. Okay, so I've been going on Big Thunder for years and years, and I think it's quite fun. It's definitely one of the better medium-ish coasters there. Probably, I like it better than Mine Train and Space Mountain, personally. I think it's a good time.
Yeah, it's a good coaster. I agree. It's fun. It's a pretty long ride, too, as far as, coaster rides go. It feels like there's a lot to it. There's a lot of turns, ups and downs, little fast hills, short hills. And I do love it at night. I highly recommend it at night. I think it's better at night, but it's great in the day. So yeah, definitely a good one to graduate up to for little ones who want a bit more of a thrill. And in the similar vein, same park, we have Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, a medium-ish coaster. This one's a little bit unique because the cars swing left and right? They're not mounted to the track. They're sort of on a rod that goes down and allows them to swing left and right as you go up turns. So you bank up the turn, you get that feeling. So they had a little bit of a twist to it. No pun intended. Stops in the middle in the mine, or not stops, but slows down. It's well themed as well. Middle of the road coaster. It's okay. I don't love it as much as the lines think it make it seem, but it's okay. It's well themed, good ride line and all that sort of stuff. Really cool stuff even at the end. The mine's cool. The cottage is cool at the end with the witch and everything. So good ride.
I think it's good, but I think the first time I went on it, I was expecting it to be so good because it's another Peter Pan's Flight, in my opinion. Why are there so many people lined up for
good call.
Why?
Good call. Yeah, I would agree with that.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, versus other stuff, especially in that park. Let's hop over to Disney's Hollywood Studios and talk about Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yes.
Now, this may change in theme, but we'll see. And if it follows Disneyland Paris,
It'll be Moana's rocking.
no, well, Disneyland Paris. Well, we'll get to that. But it's, as we've discussed before, the Aerosmith contract is done and all that sort of stuff. So it's on borrowed time. But
If they did change it, can I request Spider-Man swinging something?
you
Or
can
some
request
Avengers
whatever
thing?
you want.
I want an Avengers rocking.
Now, I love this coaster because I find it super fun. Similar to Incredicoaster, I love the start. And I love this one more because it starts, 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds or whatever it is. And then you go right into a loop. And it's got a couple of loops and a corkscrew, or one loop and a corkscrew. Really fast, in the dark, music blasting. It's short but fun. It's one I would really like to go on, one after another.
Yeah, I think we've gone on
Which
this.
we have.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
I found that quite fun. The theming's great. If they change it, we'll see what they do with it. The music's fun. The only thing is it goes so fast that your head can really jerk around.
Yeah, I've got a good system. I keep my head on the back when it starts so my head doesn't bang onto the headrest. But then I take my head off the headrest for the whole rest of the ride. So I don't bang around my head at all. It doesn't hit anything.
See, I misheard your advice and was keeping my head back the whole
No.
time
So
with
next
a
time
lot
we
of
go-
effort. It's way
No.
too much effort, and then I can't enjoy the ride. Must keep head back. Ow, ow, ow.
No, only for the start. As soon as you go into the loop, or really as soon as the start is done, take your head off and try to hold it so it doesn't hit anything. So that's
the start is
that's
quite
my
fun.
advice. That's my tip for the episode: how to not get head banging to the music in a bad way. So, Rock and Roller Coaster, fun ride. Really good thumbs up for me. Space Mountain, Magic Kingdom, Disney World version, the original,
Yeah,
1975.
yeah,
Iconic, classic.
definitely better than the one at Disneyland in California. I much prefer it. I don't know why, because they're really not that different.
They are different. The cars are different.
Really?
There's 2 tracks at Disney World. I'm not sure if there's 2 at Disneyland, but
The actual ride feels pretty similar.
no, I think it feels faster and more fun and more hills to me for some reason.
Oh.
It is a herky-jerky ride, so if you don't like that kind of stuff, they are. You used to sit with the person in front of you right in your lap, like in the same car.
Oh.
So you really had to know the person. You could not go with a stranger.
That's nice.
Now you each have your own seats, but there's still 2 and 2 cars, so four people go at once.
Yeah.
I like Space Mountain as a classic original. I still love to go on it. Even as a upper middle-aged person, I'm not over it. I still love it, and the teacups and everything like that. So
Yeah.
And then we'll close out with one of the more recent ones, Slinky Dog Dash in Hollywood Studios Toy Story Land.
Slinky Dog is it called Toy Story Land?
Yeah.
Really? Cool. I think Slinky Dog is quite fun. I like the theming of the line. It's definitely one of the better ones for the outdoors because there's a few recently that they've made like Mine Train that kind of missed the mark for me. I think Slinky Dog's really there. Although one thing I will say is it does rain, so it can shut down a lot. But that's true for all outdoor coasters.
And I would agree. I really like Slinky Dog Dash more than I thought I would. And it's almost a copy in a way of Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
But it's better.
Yeah, not in the fact that it doesn't is swing, but in the fact that it starts, it slows down in the middle, and then it speeds up again. It is all outdoors where there's a little indoor part on Seven Dwarfs. But I do agree. I prefer Slinky Dog Dash to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train for a middle of the road coaster.
Me too.
I like it much more than I ever thought I would. Okay, we are ranking the 6. Do you want me to start again?
Yes. Although I do have my ranking this time. I'm prepared.
In number 6, in last position for me, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which is probably going to make some of you listeners mad or in disbelief. And Walt Disney World has a lot of coasters that are really close to one another in terms of likability, as far as I'm concerned. So in last place for me is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. And right behind it is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Even though I love Big Thunder, but it still comes in 5th for me. In 4th spot for me is Space Mountain. I still love it original. I love the indoors. It may be nostalgia for me. I've just grown up with it, loved it since it very, very first opened. I still know by heart the original, safety message where...
That's a little extra.
It was astronaut Gordon Cooper. I'm going to say this for anyone who remembers. If you have a heart condition, bad back, or other physical limitations, you can bypass this ride and go on to the RCA Home of Future Living. It's real exciting, too. Astronaut Gordon Cooper, he was right there at the entrance on the screen. So a little nostalgia. Love Space Mountain. In number 3, Slinky Dog Dash. Really love it. Number 3 coaster for me. In number 2, Expedition Everest. Love the thrill coaster, so that is definitely up there, number 2. And in number 1 for me, no contest, Rock and Roller Coaster. So whatever they change it to, I hope they don't muck up the tracks too much, because I really like that ride when they retheme it. That is my number 1 coaster at Walt Disney World. Lots of thrills and chills.
Yeah. I think we pretty much agree. There's a few differentiations, but for the most, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train kind of missed the mark for me. It's number 6. Still great, though. Right behind it, I have Space Mountain. It's fine. It's just nothing really special. Next, I have Slinky Dog Dash because I just kind of like it more at this point, although I've been going back and forth on this, so I'll probably disagree with that later in the episode because those two are really close for me. I don't know why, because they're pretty different, but they're very close in my mind. And then Big Thunder, it's a classic, been going on it forever. Everest, obviously, it's Everest, it's amazing. And of course, what else at number 1 than Rock and Roller Coaster?
All right. I can't believe we keep agreeing on these top ones. We're different throughout the middle.
Yeah.
But on the top, we're coming in close. So that's going to make it easier as we do our champion of these 3 Disney resorts. And speaking of which, let's move on to our final one, Disneyland Paris. And if you have not gone, you must go because their coasters are amazing. All of them. Almost all of them. So I'm going to start with, first of all, as we always have, there is a kiddie coaster there, Casey Jr., sort of similar to Gadgets Go coaster for the kids. It's really definitely a kiddie coaster. Meaning, unlike, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, you wouldn't go on it unless you have little kids, most likely. They do have it coming soon. They used to have a Rock and Roller Coaster, which was not as good as the Disney World one for some reason. It was I was really let down when we went on it. So, but they are changing it, and it's going to be opening soon with an Iron Man sort of led Avengers Marvel coaster. That's what's coming.
Yeah.
I don't think they have a name for it yet, but that will be in Walt Disney Studios taking over from Rock and Roller Coaster.
And I'm really excited for that, which is why I think that they should make Disney World also an Avengers type
it's going to be
coaster.
interesting to see if they do. They may copy it. Maybe they'll not make it Iron Man. Maybe they will make it Spider-Man. Who knows?
Yeah, because it's like web slinging. I don't know. I think it should be like not too different. Something strong, in my opinion.
So beyond that, we have only 4 coasters here across the 2 parks, but they are all amazing.
Well, 75% of them
that's right.
amazing.
All right, let's start with Disneyland Paris version of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
I think this is the best one out of all the Big Thunders.
This is not even close. If you have not been to Disneyland Paris,
I think you need to go just for this ride.
Well, not just for this one, as you're going to see momentarily, but as far as Big Thunders go, this blows the other 2 that we've discussed out of the water.
And you wouldn't think it would be because it's a very similar track and it doesn't appear much different. I couldn't really pinpoint what was different on it, but it just feels so much better, and a lot of people agree.
It looks it's the same theming and everything.
Yeah.
But it is way longer for starters, way faster, wicked turns. It goes like the way that Matterhorn splashes through the water. Theirs does that like in a big way, and it's really, really good. Like Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, Disneyland Paris, runaway, no pun intended, the runaway winner. So really, really good. Now, let's talk about Hyperspace Mountain, the Disneyland Paris Space Mountain version in Disneyland Park.
Yeah.
What do you say? Yeah, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Hyperspace Mountain is a definite thumbs up. Can I give it 2 thumbs up? It is way better than both of them combined, even though you cannot combine it. Like, it is just so good. It goes upside down. We were so confused when we went on it the first time. As you pull the bars over, it's like...
Yeah, it's got the Rock and Roller Coaster, California Screamin' sort of bars come over your shoulders, and you're going, this is not the Space Mountain that we're going to be used to, and it's
or
not.
if you did actual research on the rides you were going on, you were like, oh yeah, I'm so hyped for this.
This is much closer to Rock and Roller Coaster than it is
the
to the other
rock
two
in there.
Space Mountains.
Yeah.
So
I really enjoyed it personally.
it does have that wicked blast off start. It's just a really, really, really cool interpretation of Space Mountain. And they did, when they built it, they really wanted to differentiate the park. So that was the first one to have that extreme 0 to 60 fast start or whatever it exactly is. But yeah, Hyperspace Mountain, Disneyland Paris, awesome, awesome ride.
Yeah.
Now, at the other end of the extreme is the Indiana Jones Temple of Peril coaster.
It's fine. I just don't know why I enjoyed it so little.
This is a weird ride. It's almost like a Wild Mouse type of track, like Goofy Sky School. It's very compact, but it's a coaster.
I got off of it feeling so dizzy.
You feel I feel sick.
Like sick, yeah.
And there's a loop in it, but the loop is so small that as the train is going around the loop, it's like, oh my, I feel like I'm going to get crushed or like my head's going to hit the loop on the other side.
And this is not just like an old person thing, because I was, I think, 10 the most recent time I was on it.
Thank you very much. Don't assume you were talking about me there.
No. I'm just saying, like, kids, like, as a kid, because I was 10 the most recent time I went on it, it can make you feel really nauseous, too. So
and believe it or not, this is the one that for some reason, at some point, somebody said, hey, let's make it go backwards. And there was a whole year where I think this thing went backwards.
These current Imagineers, what?
No, these aren't the current ones. This was old. And people were throwing up, like really getting sick on it going backwards. I mean,
did they fire that person?
I don't know.
What?
So it goes forwards again, but it might make you sick.
Thank goodness.
So it's a strange ride. I do not like it. It's not one I would even bother going on again. Let me hear from you if you love it, because I'd be curious.
I mean, I can definitely see how some people could love it, but for me, it's not like a cool jerky, because there are definitely rides like Sky School and stuff like that. For me, it was more kind of like Rip Ride Rocket at Universal, which I didn't like.
Yeah, there's cool jerky
personally.
and bad jerky. Like Space Mountain is definitely a herky-jerky ride, but I still love it. This one is, and I don't love it. And Goofy Sky School's somewhere in the middle.
But I could definitely see why people would like this, and I would go on it again if I had a friend that liked it. So. And
then the final one is Crush's Coaster, which
you are not qualified to talk about.
I know, but I can talk about it, but I will admit,
and you did not.
And I should have, right after you.
You should have.
So Crush's Coaster is extremely unique. There's nothing like it at any of these parks.
I love it.
At least yet. So the way it works is it's a coaster type track, but in this case it's Crush. So the cars are shaped like a turtle shell, like you're a turtle. And I think there's 4 people in a car, and the cars go along the roller coaster track, but they also spin. They rotate. Yeah, I wouldn't say spin.
They don't spin.
That's why I didn't go on it. I thought they were going to fully spin. And this ride
but slowly.
This is the only one, at least when we went, where you couldn't use a fast pass. So I didn't want to get sick, because spinning and that, I wasn't sure. I probably would have been, well, now I know I would have been okay, but
it was 9 a.m.
Yeah, so Amelia waited in line.
Single rider
and got on it, and we'll post some pictures, but
I loved it.
Talk about it.
I thought it was great. I don't really remember like too much of the specifics, because it was a couple years ago, the most recent time. But I thought it was really fun. I remember coming off of there and being like, "Ha, I told you so."
Yeah, so if you can imagine, you're zipping along, because it's pretty fast, right? It doesn't go upside down or anything.
I mean, like, as a 10-year-old, when was the most recent time I went on it, I thought it was fine. So it's not like too scary for little kids, but it's also not too like spinny jerky. It was really fun. Yeah, you zip along, but in addition to going on a coaster track, the cars turn occasionally. And this, just an all-around good time.
Coming back to Disney World, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is this ride reimagined. So the cars for the new coaster coming to Epcot are basically based on Crush's coaster. So they're now bringing this technology to the North American parks in Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. So really, really cool, innovative one, and I can't wait to see if it's longer, bigger, better at Epcot.
Are you ready to rank them?
I am ready.
Okay, I'll go rapid fire.
So I go first again?
No, I want to go first.
Okay.
Because you're going to need to edit your list. So in 16th, we have Indiana Jones.
No. You haven't even done 16th. There's only 4 coasters.
What?
You have to do Disneyland Paris.
Yes, sorry.
And by the way, I didn't rank all 16. We're just going to do the top 3. So give me Disneyland Paris.
Oh, okay. Disneyland Paris, number 4. I have Indiana Jones because it's fine.
Okay, we agree.
Yeah.
Number 4 for me.
Number 4. And then tied, I have Crusher's Coaster at 3. And then because I just thought that Big Thunder pulled ahead. Crusher's Coaster was fun, but Big Thunder pulled ahead. And then Hyperspace Mountain. Come on, it goes upside down.
All right.
It goes upside down, guys.
In this park, we are in exact agreement.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is our 3 number 1s were exactly the same. So which is the ultimate coaster overall? We have number 1 Disneyland Resort was Incredicoaster.
Yes.
Number 1 Walt Disney World was Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yes.
Number 1 Disneyland Paris was Hyperspace Mountain.
Yes.
Do those 3. They must have been your top 3 anyway.
Of course.
Okay, so
well, obviously.
Forget the other 15 or whatever. It doesn't matter. Let's start with number 3.
Yeah, number 3, I had Hyperspace Mountain because even though I'm pretty sure I like this ride better than Rockin' is more nostalgic. And so I had Rockin' in number 2. And then my all-time favorite coaster ever, Incredicoaster. It's amazing.
Wow, so we're different. I think I would go Hyperspace Mountain number 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just think but you know what? It's so close.
Yeah,
And
they're all
then
very close.
I think I would go Rockin' over Incredicoaster because it's in
Really?
the dark. And I really like the fact that it's in the dark.
Yeah.
The one thing I don't love about Incredicoaster, while it has the fast start, it sort of slows down because it starts fast, then it goes up a hill. Whereas in Rockin', you go bang and you go upside down basically right away. So there's a bit more thrill. But listen, Hyperspace Mountain, Rock and Roller Coaster, and Incredicoaster.
They're all great, but can I tell you why I wanted to go from 16?
Yes.
You forgot Splash Mountain.
That's not a coaster on a track.
What?
So for anyone listening,
How is that not a
a
coaster?
roller coaster is on a steel tube track.
What?
Yes. So
No, it has a hill.
you were going to try to put in a little twist. No, I'm
is a
sorry.
coaster.
It is not categorized
is
as a coaster,
too.
even by them or anyone.
What? No. What would you call it? It's a mountain, so therefore a coaster.
It's in a category of its own.
No.
All right, everyone. As we go out on this great debate, let us know. Maybe I'll do a little poll. Is Splash Mountain a coaster?
Yes,
or no?
the answer is
and
yes.
there will be one vote for yes. All right, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this. We're going to be posting a lot about Disney coasters this week. Let us know your favorites, and let us know if you think Disney should have an extreme coaster or not.
They should.
Is it their thing not to play in that playing field?
You don't have to go on it.
Or is it time when they build our Villains Park that they crank it up and have something closer to the, extreme coasters of the world?
Yes, it is time.
All right, we'll see you again next week. Thank you, as always, for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. Follow along at 1923 Main Street on every social media network. And we'll see you again next week. Have a magical day.
Bye-bye.